And welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs. That man over there is the wild man, Chris Wilds. And tonight, we're going to take a quick preview, Chris, of Ohio State's 2024 schedule. Now, we've done this on our social media accounts already when it came out, but we haven't done it here on the show yet. And this is kind of the first time we've actually turned the page a little bit from 2023. Now we've talked about the news and notes and the players coming back and the players who jumped in the portal, the players who were spit out of the portal, etc. We've talked about the coaching changes. We've talked about what Ryan Day should do as head coach going into 2024 and all those things. But we've not really forecasted 2024. And that's what we're going to start to do now. So without any further ado, let me pull open the 2024 schedule for you, Chris. And here's how we're going to do this. Let's go game by game and give a quick prediction and see where we're at right now, January 17th, as we record this. Way too early prediction for how we think the regular season will go for Ohio State in 2024. It kicks off at home August 31st, week 0, I believe that is. So I think the Big Ten's playing a bunch of week 0 games. Against Akron. So we get Akron again. We just played them a couple years ago. We get them home again. The Zips come in to the shoe August 31st against Akron. Chris, I'm going with a big Ohio State win in game 1.
You remember that time in Rocky 3, Eric, where they asked Mr. T, what's your prediction for the fight? And he says,
pain.
I kind of feel that's my prediction for Akron is pain.
Yeah.
If we have starters in the third quarter, I'll be surprised.
Come to the shoe, collect your paycheck, right?
That's it.
7 days later, September 7th, another MAC school, Western Michigan, comes to the house. Again, rinse, repeat. They might be slightly better than Akron, maybe. I don't know. Traditionally, they have been. Possibly not. I don't know. But I think this is going to be another Ohio State blowout.
Yeah, I have to agree. Again, these first 2 weeks, there's no reason that we shouldn't have the third string in playing the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Bye week, first of 2 bye weeks on the schedule, comes very early, week 3.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but I would look at that as Ohio State gets the opportunity to work out whatever kinks they saw in those first 2 games. Because in week 4, game 3 on September 21st, a team that we will definitely have a awesome preview for that game. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The Marshall Thundering Herd come into the shoe. I think Marshall knocked off a big team a couple years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they knocked off.
Who was that?
Yeah.
That's right.
It was Kennedy's boys, wasn't it?
Yeah, John Kennedy's team. The Fighting Irish got beat at home to Marshall. Marshall. By the way, one of my favorite
not one of Freeman's brightest moments so far as a head coach.
No. That was coming off a loss to Ohio State too, wasn't it?
Was it?
It was 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, one of my favorite, funniest moments was when Kennedy was on our show, and we were talking about Ohio State's performance against Western Kentucky. And I said to him, you know who Western Kentucky's rival is? And he goes, I don't know who, Eastern Kentucky? And I said, no, Marshall. You've heard of them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
At that point, the vein popped out.
Yeah. Marshall is, I think, a upgrade from Akron in Western
Oh, without
Michigan.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So
they're
this
definitely
will be
mid-tier up portion, mid-upper tier of the.
Instead of a 40 or 50 point win, we're probably looking at a 30-point win.
Yeah.
Then we open Big Ten play on the road to a game you and I and Aaron are going to. East Lansing. We're heading to East Lansing to take on Sparty on the road. This is going to be a much better Michigan State team.
Couldn't be much worse.
That's true. That's true. But they have done a lot in the transfer portal with their new head coach. They're going to a lot of those Oregon State guys are coming over to East Lansing. I think that they're going to be a much improved team. I think we still beat them by 3 scores at least.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think that they're going to be a much improved team, but they are still not a top half of the Big Ten team this next season.
All right, that got us through September. We're now into October, and that means
maybe the first real game.
No, no. I think here's a crazy prediction for you. Iowa Hawkeyes coming to Columbus, Ohio to take on the Buckeyes in the shoe. I think Iowa will struggle to be 500 next year.
Well, I'll tell you that could be the only thing is Ferentz does always have a great defense, which I think will be a challenge for Ohio State's offense. Offensively, I don't see them scoring a lot of points.
Tell me something that everyone doesn't know already, Chris.
You know what I'm going to tell you? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll run into the guys with the trophy again.
Oh, I hope not. My eyeballs are still hurting from that. Inside joke.
This is the first real game right here. And I don't know how great Oregon's going to be with.
Okay, you've already moved on. I think we beat Iowa by 4 scores, maybe 5. And I'm serious. I think in the new Big Ten without divisions, Iowa is going to take a step back.
Really?
I do.
Yeah, I could see that.
Look at how awful they looked in the bowl game. They didn't even score a point.
Yeah.
They got slaughtered by Tennessee.
Well, it was Brian Ferentz going away present.
Yes. Next up, the big one, the first of 3 big games on this schedule. At Oregon, on the road, Eugene, makeup game from COVID year. This might be an L.
I don't know. Oregon's losing a lot, specifically Bo Nix. I mean,
they replaced him with the quarterback from Oklahoma who was really good.
Yeah, but
who's like 24 years old or something.
Yeah. Because they don't get quarterbacks under 30 at Oregon.
Oregon has, I think, a top 5 roster as well. They have a hot young coach who Alabama wanted, and he didn't leave. They have a lot of momentum. They're coming into the Big Ten, I think, as the second best roster in the Big Ten behind Ohio State. If there is an L on this schedule, I think it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously. I mean, Eugene's going to be a tough place to play.
Here on January 17th, 2024, taking off my scarlet and gray colored glasses and looking at this schedule, I would say this will be the first of 2, maybe 3 times these 2 teams play each other in 2024. How about that for a crazy early prediction?
I can see that.
And I think this will be the beginning of a big new rivalry in the Big Ten, as these 2 Nike schools will be running the roost, one on the West Coast, us on the East Coast, for about the next decade. I mark it down. Oregon, Ohio State, because of their financial backing, because they know how to play the NIL game, because of their rosters, because of their coaching staff, all those built-in advantages. USC might, throw one in every now and then. Maybe Washington, maybe that team up north, possibly Penn State every now and then could challenge to be the second best. But one of these 2 teams will be in Indianapolis almost every single year for the next decade.
Maybe. I mean, I can see it. Oregon's going to be tough. I think they are, and this may be a case of. And would you agree with this? Whoever's at home is going to have the edge in that rivalry.
Didn't happen last time. They beat us in our
No,
house.
that's true.
What gives me a feeling that we can go in there and win that football game is our defense.
Yeah.
Will we be able to score enough points? That's my question right now.
That's up to what the defense does.
So I'm going to
If they
say
go out and they play like the Browns defense did against the Texans, then we're in a lot of trouble.
I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna put an L there, but we'll see how Oregon looks at the beginning of the year, because that I think is the toughest game on the schedule. That then goes to our second bye week. I apologize for all my coughing. That gets us to our second bye week of the season, and I think this is a good spot
I
for a
like
bye
the
week.
timing on the bye week here.
Yeah, I do as well. Which then gets us to back home to take on Nebraska, a Nebraska team that'll be in the second year of the rule era. They have a brand new quarterback, 5-star, under
What,
helm
he
more than
hasn't
likely.
transferred yet?
Not yet.
I mean, he's transferred through 6 high schools and 4 colleges, and he hadn't taken a snap yet. I mean,
I think Nebraska's taking the step forward. I think
do
they're going to
too.
be. I think they're going to be a bold team in 2024, but it ain't going to happen in this game.
I agree.
We got the coughs tonight. I apologize. No, Ohio State wins this one easily. On the road at Penn State, Happy Valley, probably going to be a whiteout if it's a night game. If not, it'll be a noon stripe game where every other section is wearing navy blue or white, like they like to do. Not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be loud.
It is.
Ohio State wins this one by 2 scores.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
If Penn State was going to do anything, it would have been last year.
Yeah.
James Franklin's still there? Okay, give him 2 L's.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. All right. Then we come home against what I think will be a sneaky good team in 2024. The Purdue Boilermakers.
And
now,
thank God we don't have them on the road, because that's when they get us.
Right? We'll be going to this game because our buddies from the Boiler Express podcast will be coming in. We're going to have a great weekend that weekend. It's going to be fun, especially for us, because I think Ohio State wins this game by a couple scores comfortably in the fourth quarter. They don't have the depth yet, but if they can stay healthy in 2024, Purdue's going to make a bowl game.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a good head coach. They have the best recruiting class that they have seen coming in 2024 that they've ever seen at Purdue. But I mean, they're going to be young and inexperienced, and this is not the place where dreams happen for you when that's the case.
But here's the question, Eric. Does this next one cause you any concern?
At Northwestern?
Yeah.
No, it still doesn't, because I don't believe Northwestern is playing the brand of football where they're going to be able to walk in and beat a big dog yet. Yeah.
I agree with that, but I'll tell you what.
They also lost quite a bit.
If you sleep on them, something tells me they can take advantage. They can make this a closer game if you sleep on them.
This game probably
have
30-mile-an-hour winds. We win at 14-7, right? Like,
right.
Crazy game here. All right, then we come back home for our get right SEC, playing a Division I AA school before the big one in Indiana, who will have their new head coach, who apparently wanted to throw. You know that clip when he was announced at the basketball game where he talked about Purdue sucks, Ohio State sucks, Michigan sucks. They're going to play that over and over and over. He is going to get his butt smashed in 2024. I'm calling it right now. Ohio State wins this game by 60 points.
I was going to say by 40, but
I'm really. I mean, Ryan Day puts the backups in the second half and lets them actually play the playbook. How about that?
Come on, let's not get carried away.
No, I'm getting carried away on that one. Absolutely.
Day has never let a backup take a snap that counted in his career, man. Come on.
2 days after Thanksgiving, we then see that dreaded team from up north make their way down I-75 to 23 south into Columbus, Ohio to get finally beat by Ryan Day. He's going to get the monkey off his back this year. That program is not going to be the same in 2024. It will be a rebuild year for them. I think anybody who's following that team, who's realistic, knows that they do not stand a chance at winning the Big Ten or winning a national championship or even coming close to that in 2024. Everybody's leaving. All your 400 super seniors are gone. Your head coach might be gone as we record this. By the time you watch this, he might be the head coach for Atlanta or Los Angeles in the NFL. Now, I believe if they're smart, they'll go with Sharon Moore. I think he's a heck of a coach, and I think he can do good.
But what's
do
going to
good
come
things
out
there.
as far as the still ongoing investigation? Are they going to get him tied up in that at all?
Whether probably not, but whether that happens or not, whether they get sanctions or not, the next upcoming season they do not have the same roster.
No, they're not going to. They are not going to win anything next year.
Don't get me wrong; they're still going to be good.
They'll be solid. They'll
But
be probably an 8-2 or I'm sorry, 8-3, 9-2 type team next year, or 10-2. Wow, I can't do math today.
12 games, brother.
I can't do math today.
Well, one of them they might
9-3,
get suspended for. I understand. 9-3, 10-2. Gosh, let me pull open their schedule real fast because now you got me thinking. But I have Ohio State at 11-1,
which I think is realistic. But one Ryan Day had better watch where that one falls. You know, that's the big thing.
All right, they play Fresno State. That's a W. Texas, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Arkansas State, that's a W. USC, probably a W. Minnesota, W. Washington at Washington.
Washington's lost so much, including their head
probably
coach,
a W.
You know?
Illinois on the road. That's a tricky game.
Birdie can pull out the stops. You know, he can.
Yep. They host Michigan State. Tricky game. That's a tricky game.
As long as they avoid punting, they're okay, Eric.
They host Oregon. That's a loss.
Yeah.
Indiana, Northwestern, wins. Ohio State, loss. I see 3 guaranteed losses. I see 3 guaranteed losses on that schedule.
Yeah.
Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State. And I believe there might be a 4th on there. I'll give them 8-4 next year.
Yeah.
Either Michigan State. I can see Michigan State in that coach's first year stepping up and doing something.
Michigan
like
State
that.
or Illinois will get them.
Or Illinois. Burt will have a line. They're so solid. Like they don't beat themselves, you know?
Yes.
So I'm not seeing it. I think it's going to be an Oregon, Ohio State rematch. So if we get I have us losing earlier in the season. We beat them for the Big Ten at the end of the season. That makes we're 12-1. We get a bye as the 4th team. The 5th team will be Notre Dame. Notre Dame will be ranked 5th. Notre Dame will play some loser in the first round. And then in the second round of the playoffs, it'll be Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Sign me up for that.
Oh, yeah. Let's get Kennedy on a pre-playoff show, man. That'd be a lot of fun. What'll be even more fun will be the show afterwards.
Yeah. This is going to be a lot of fun, dude. The first year of a 12-team playoff. This is going to be a lot of fun, Chris. There's a lot of what's uncertainty.
I will say this, though. You have got to be one of those first 4 teams. I really believe that. 17 games is a lot for anybody.
It is a lot. You're right. The extra week of rest.
I mean, you look at the pros, Eric. A lot of these guys don't play the whole 17-game schedule.
No,
they
don't.
set at some point during the season. whether it's just a rest game or what have you. But if they're a playoff contender, they sit usually the last week if everything's been decided. They are going to get more rest than what these college kids are going to with this. That's kind of a frightening thought to me.
Yeah. Would you rather lose that game against Oregon close on the road, knowing that when you play them again, you're going to have probably learned your lesson on a few things, or win close on the road, going in and playing them a second time in Indy, feeling like, ooh, we have to beat them again now?
Well, I'm always going to take the undefeated record, Eric. Always.
Well, sure.
But I understand.
Do you see what my point, where I'm coming from?
I do see where you're coming from. There is, it drives the hunger a little bit. It gives you a little more humility. Makes you know that you have to work that much harder to get the job done. But also gives you the opportunity to make the corrections.
Imagine a world where Oregon beats us close in Eugene. We beat them close in Indy for the Big Ten, and then we play each other for the national championship. That could happen. Legitimately could happen. Play the same team 3 times in 16 games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I foresee a world where Oregon and Ohio State become a huge rivalry in college football in 2024.
And all it would take is that scenario to play out. If you play a team 3 times in 1 year, you are rivals moving forward.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
And it's going to be driven by whoever's
especially
on the
when
wrong
it goes
end
back
of it.
and forth like that,
And whoever's on the wrong end of it's going to be the one driving that rivalry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, share, subscribe. Let us know in the comments section what you think Ohio State will do with this schedule. Do you believe like me, 11-1, or do you think like Chris, 12-0 next year? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid that on November 30th, when that team from up north travels down to Columbus from Ann Arbor, that it's going to be a W for Ryan Day and he gets the monkey off his back?
I'm not saying it will be 12-0, Eric, because what I'm saying is it better be 12-0. If Ryan Day loves his job and he loves Columbus, Ohio, it better be 12-0.
Well, what are you saying? What's your prediction right now on January 17th?
I think realistically you have to say 11-1.
Okay, where's the loss?
I would say, you're probably right. It's probably at Oregon. But at the same time,
you told me it was going to be a win.
Now listen, but at the same time, Ryan Day has not beaten Harbaugh in his last 3 attempts.
Harbaugh won't be there.
Nope. But does just the Michigan phenomenon? The Michigan.
He didn't beat Harbaugh this year either. By the way, he lost the more.
Okay, so let's take it a step further. He hasn't beaten Michigan in 3 attempts.
Correct. Not in the last 3 years. Correct.
Is that in his head still?
Well, if you listened to our show last week, he took a walk in his head and saw Jim Harbaugh.
Saw Jim Harbaugh standing there. That's right.
So, I mean, who will be in his head this time? A crying Moore? Coach Moore in there crying? And right,
don't forget, he wasn't just crying. He was crying and cursing.
Crying and cursing for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
For his love. He was expressing his love for Jim Harbaugh. Yes, we know. All right, let us know what your prediction is down in the comments below. Do you think Ohio State's 11-1, 12-0? Do you think they're worse? Do you see a second loss somewhere or even a third loss on this? Given this roster, I don't. But we'll see what kind of coaching changes Ryan Day makes. We'll be talking about those. Make sure you're with us this Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. We go live 8 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified so you won't miss that show on Sunday night. And you can participate in the chat with everybody else who's going to be there. We have a great time. We have a lot of good topics coming up. We're going to start breaking down depth charts, believe it or not, already. Before spring ball, breaking down the depth charts and where we think everybody lines up as they get ready to break for winter practices and then get ready for spring practice, which is just around the corner. They are literally a month and a half away, Chris, from the start of spring practice.
Yeah. I looked at this. We're only, I think, right around less than 100 days now from the spring game. Or right at 100 days.
I think it was 8. I don't quote me on this, but I believe it was April 13th.
Yeah,
I believe is what they said it was going to
which
be.
would make today, I think, 100 days or 99 days out. So as we record.
The countdown has begun to spring ball. We'll have all kinds of great news about that. What we do, we have our spring ball tailgate, a fan appreciation tailgate there at the spring game. We'll have that again this year, so be on the lookout for all of that. Again, comments, please like, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it. See you all Sunday. Till next time. OH,
IO.
go Bucks.